Live from the Counterculture-Wise newsroom, it's Interviews to the Max, with your favorite interviewer and mine, Maximilian von Riegelbieser.
Thank you, Larry! I am filled with pride to the tip of my stripy orange ears to bring you tonight's guest. From what I have been seeing, all of Hollywood and DC is on the cutting edge of medical information, and tonight's guest is no exception. We are going to get the latest on the COVID-19 pandemic recovery from none other than that lifelong politician and TV doctor, Anthony Grouchy.
That's Fauci. Wait a minute. Why am I
talking to a cat? I would think that someone with your self-described intelligence would have read the fine print when you signed the agreement. But no matter. I think you will find me as good an interviewer as those on MSNBC, CNN, or any other network with lower ratings than ours.
Fine, let's get on with it.
Thank you, good sir. Now please repeat for our gentle listeners your advice to anyone concerning the wearing of masks to fight the COVID-19 virus.
It's a good idea for people to wear masks in areas of the country with low vaccination rates, even if they themselves are vaccinated.
Well, Dr. Ouchie, I appreciate that. But doesn't that contradict what you said just a few months ago when you stated that we don't need to wear masks if we have been vaccinated?
Yes, but you see...
Which contradicts what you said before that, when you said that everyone should wear masks.
Yes, I know, but...
Which contradicts what you said before that, when you said that only people exposed to COVID or those who exhibited symptoms should wear them.
Well, Max, that's easy to explain.
I'm all pointy ears, good doctor.
I based what I said each time on the information that was available at that time. When new data comes in, we need to adapt. It's part of the scientific method, Mr. Cat.
Ah, but then there's that batch of emails.
Oh, jeez.
Which contradicts your contradictions, and they even contradict each other.
Come on, Max.
These emails also indicate that you were told early on that the virus may have originated in a lab in Wuhan, which Mumsy said clear back in 2019, but was told she was crazy.
That's Wuhan.
Ah, yes. I have had a similar conversation with someone about this before. Now, Woohoo would have been a much better name, but that was out of my control.
Thank God.
Never mind that. You initially chose to tell the public that you believed it was not man-made. Then you said it might have been. You don't seem to stick to a story at all.
It's a scientific method. I already told you that.
So what you're telling me, fine fellow, is that the scientific method involves flipping like a flapjack every other day?
Ah!
Good sir, I cannot help but feel that you have been lying.
No, damn it. I'm not lying. I get new information from the CDC and base my announcements on the info they provide.
The CDC? What does that stand for? The Crazy Doctor Company?
Listen, smartass.
Chronically dumb chemists?
Hey!
Criminally deficient communicators?
It's the Center for Disease Control.
1,000 pardons, Dr. Slouchy. But that still doesn't completely explain why you told so many people so many different things about wearing masks, where the virus originated, or even what its symptoms were, especially at the beginning.
Well, as I've told other journalists, we were concerned that medical professionals would run out of masks and other critical medical equipment.
So you were lying.
No, I was balancing the scientific research with the need to protect the medical community.
So you were lying.
No, I'm simply trying to protect as many people as possible.
So you were lying.
Listen, you have every single thing wrong.
Every single thing? I find that very hard to believe.
For example, Max, I'm the chief medical officer for the White House, not, as you said, a TV doctor.
My apologies, Officer Crouchy. I did not know you took on patients. What kind of ailments do you treat?
I haven't actually ever seen patients.
Then what sort of lab do you work in? Oh, it must be so fascinating to discover new cures and preventative measures.
I've never worked in a lab, although I did send millions of dollars to the one in Wuhan.
Wait, you sent money to the Woohoo lab?
Wuhan, you little monster!
Whether Woohoo, Wuhan, or Whoopsie, this doesn't paint you or them in the best light. Why would they even have you heading up the battle on COVID? I know I'm just a cat, but even I can see a conflict of interest when I see one.
Because I'm the most trusted doctor in America.
But you don't see patients, you don't work in a lab, and from my research, I see you also made multiple mistakes in dealing with the AIDS virus 40 years ago.
I've already told you.
So you were a doctor in name only, much like Mrs. Biden?
I...
Other than getting paid more than any other government official to lie, what is it that you actually do, Mr. Slouchy?
You... Screw this, I'm out of here.
Next patient, please. This is Maximilian von Riegelbieser. Tune in next time for another interview to the max. Welcome to Counterculture Wise, a Stormcat production, with your hosts Melanie Hope and James Monis. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the hosts, our guests, and the dog, and do not necessarily reflect the views of any of our platforms, our advertisers, or any other dog.
As you listen today, please remember, we are so much more than a podcast. All of our stories we discuss are linked in our show notes on counterculturewise.com. Visit there for commentary, guest photos and links, animations, and fun merchandise.
If you have a story idea or would like to be a guest on our show, contact us via our website. You can also follow us on Twitter, Gab, Instagram, Facebook, and all over social media, where we'll post memes, cat pics, and commentary that gets us booted off on a regular basis.
If you're watching our live show, hit like and join the chat. If you're listening dead, well, you can still hit like, share, subscribe, and comment, but please stop voting Democrat. And it's a fine howdy doody to all of you out there in Counterculture-Wise land. It's been an amazing week. Weather not so good. It's not frightful enough for fireplaces, but, well, let's just say Jim's having a hot toddy.
I am definitely. And I want to apologize in advance because just like last week, this cough is very stubborn. I'm actually going to a doctor, which I don't really like doing, especially since I'm started this new day job, but they're very understanding. So I'm going to go ahead and hopefully get this taken care of.
They're probably sick of listening to you hack your lungs up all day. Stop smoking a pack a day.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
So yeah, Jim sounds like the character in the movie that dies. So we gotta get him looked at because it's always, oh, Mumsy, and then the kid dies. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't want the love story thing.
Let's not do that.
No.
Not
anyway,
yet.
what's
Not
your
yet,
name?
Anyway. What's your name? Who's your daddy?
Is he
rich like me? Well, my name is Melanie Hope. I'm Miss Melanie Hope, Ms. Melanie Hope, Mrs. Melanie Monis, Ms. Yeah, I'm your host.
Yeah, you're the host.
And to my right is my right-hand man, my best friend, happens to be my husband, my co-host, and my sweet baboo, Mr. James Monis.
Hi, everybody. Now, we're about to approach 15 years that we've known each other.
Yes.
And we're co-hosts. And, things aren't always easy, when you're in a couple. It's hard work. It's worth it.
Especially with you.
Yeah, with me, I'm not. I am no walk in the park.
Jim is high maintenance.
But I think that I am entitled to give out some good advice. So about romance. So
okay.
Good romance always starts with good friendship. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Bad romance starts with ra ra ro ro ma 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 ga ooh la la.
Want your bad romance? Rah, rah,
now that song is going to be pounding around in her head for the next 2 hours of our show. So, enjoy.
You and me can make a bad romance.
I like her. I admit. I mean,
her politics are jacked, but she's
her politics are jacked.
talented.
I find her attractive, and she's real
talented. I have nothing
really
but
talented lady.
Yeah, she is very, and she knew exactly what she wanted. She went for it, and she got it. And you have to hand it to her. She
worked
is a
hard to get there.
Marketing genius.
This is true. She learned a lot from her protege Madonna.
Her protege Madonna.
Or is Madonna learning?
Madonna.
Her mentor. that's right. Never mind.
She is everything that Madonna could have been if Madonna had talent.
Oh, I'm not going to... The views expressed by Melanie Hope. I mean, she's not my favorite singer by any stretch of the imagination.
No, I mean,
but
she has catchy tunes.
Yeah, but,
Did Madonna even write her own stuff?
Yeah.
She did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost all of it.
I know Gaga does.
Yeah, she does. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think the very first time I mean, I'd heard of Gaga and I knew like Paparazzi and Bad Romance, but then I saw her play the piano and sing just her and the piano, and it's like Chicks Got Cat, and there's no modulation, no auto tune, no nothing. I remember it was on a show, and
she was kind of paying a tribute to Elton John because she had the I think it was like a black and white checkered suit.
And then the platform shoes and the glasses.
Yeah.
But if you're on the fence, go watch her do her tribute to Julia. Why can I not think of her last name?
Julie Andrews?
Julie, thank you. Why? That's what it was, because I thought Julia and I couldn't get to Julie Andrews. The A came before Drews.
Yeah, she did an amazing job on Sound of Music.
Watch her do the tribute, and she was absolutely determined to do it in the same key. That
is not something most singers can do.
And the look on
Miss Andrews' face.
Amazing Miss Andrews' face.
Oh, she's amazing.
Can you imagine going your entire career looking up to somebody like that and then being able to not only pay tribute to her, but actually
move her?
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
So Julie Andrews and her husband, who's Blake Edwards, the movie director who did all the Pink Panther movies back in the 60s and 70s. What a talented couple.
You know the weirdest things. You know the weirdest things, the most fascinating weird things.
Yeah.
Well,
speaking of fascinating weird things,
we played you a little bit of retro something just because, it's in the neighborhood of, well, let's just say we have a tendency to tell the future a little bit here at Counterculture Wise. So,
I never meant to be a prophet.
So, well, actually, this one was my idea, but we have another episode of... And now, Counterculture Wise is proud to present...
Called It!
That's about as high as my voice goes when I sing.
Yeah, so here is a classic Called It because we called it. Now, understand, this was 2020.
I believe it was, 2020.
And we did not know anything about Hunter at this point.
I mean, we knew of him.
Probably would have called that too.
Yeah.
My fellow Armenians, this is your president-elect, Jill's husband. I'm so proud and honored to be your not-quite senator, congressman, what? Oh yeah, president. But I will be soon. Isn't that great? Well, it is for me anyway. I mean, I've been trying for half a century. It's my turn, just like Hillary. Now, why am I up here? Oh yeah, to announce my agenda for my first 1,000 days in office. Camel Toe, Carmelita, Kamahalal has told me what we're going to do. This is my pledge to you. I will put us right back into the Paris accordion, whether you like French polka music or not. I will apologize to China and Ukraine for ever doubting them. I will bomb North Korea. I will remind Jerusalem that Palestine is right and they are wrong. I will implement the new green new, you know the thing, cow farts and stuff. Cows have hairy legs. But in order to do these things, I need to make sure I am fully and legally able to do so. So before I do the stuff I have already forgotten about promising you, I'll need to pardon myself. Excuse me.
Joe, stay on message.
I love you, you love me, you're my best friend's grandbabies.
Oh yeah, the thing. Here goes. I, Joseph Biden, Jill's husband, being unsound in mind and body, do hereby and forever relinquish my rights. No, wait, that isn't right. Oh, yeah, do hereby pardon myself, my wife, my children, my Barack, my Ukraine, my China, and my Sharona.
And your Clintons?
And your clitoris for any wrongdoing we may have committed in the past, and especially any we or our successor, Kama Sutra Harris, may commit in the not-too-distant future. In God's name we pray, play ball! That ought to do it. I can't wait for August 24th. What's that? Oh, yeah, January 20th, that's what I meant. I promise you this will be the best abomination day ever. So before I take my hourly nap, I want to thank you one more time for making me your city councilman-elect. May God bless you all, and God bless the United States of Romania. That's a lid.
Please click the big red button. It really helps
Oh,
me
wait a
when
minute.
you
Wait, what are you doing?
I'm doing that thing at the end where I tell people to like and subscribe.
Well,
and
that's
click
great,
the...
but you don't need to sound like the other guy. Besides, we're not British.
Well, I mean, it really works for him.
Well, it works for him, but not for us. We got to do something original.
I got nothing.
Well, let's try this then. Please press the red button, lad.
Hey, if I can't be British, you can't be Scottish.
All right, well, let's try this one then. Well, go to the website and push the red button, Mommy.
Okay, that just gave me the creeps.
Please go to our website.
Hey, we're gonna get copyright notice now. How about this? Hey, give us money.
Buy our crap.
Keep food in our bellies, kibble in our bowls, and for goodness sake,
Be kind.
Classic, and yeah, we nailed it. 2020, and yes, he did pardon his children, although, you know,
Not by name, but
not by
we
name.
nailed it. We nailed it.
Freaking, this is not the kind of thing I want to nail, by the way. I was really hoping Biden would be an effective leader. I was hoping he would have some integrity.
Well, we weren't voting against America.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, everybody else did. So, you want to read a little bit about this, what this means? Because this guy, what he's getting away with,
It's pretty awful.
it's pretty sad.
Now, I'm going to start by saying, if it is true, as everybody is asserting, that he has been clean and sober for 5 years, hey, buddy, congratulations. Keep up the good work. And that's about where
Just
it ends.
because you get sober doesn't mean you shouldn't have to pay for
Oh, I know. I'm
all
just
the
starting.
things you did.
I know. I'm agreeing with you.
You owe the IRS $5 and they are chasing your ass down.
That's true.
This guy gets away scot-free.
I know. Anyway, Joe Biden had long pledged that he would not pardon his son Hunter, who is set to be sentenced this month for gun and tax convictions. But on Sunday, he did a Biden. Last Sunday, not this Sunday.
I want to make it abundantly clear.
Yeah.
I don't really care he's pardoned. I really don't. We all knew he was going to do it. It wasn't a surprise.
Anybody who thought that he was going to stick to his word, especially
Yeah.
on something like this, has rocks for brains.
When you have this big of a scumbag as a kid, what choice do you have? In fact, Hunter is probably blackmailing his own dad to make sure he got the...
I wouldn't hold it.
I mean, he calls his own
hold
father
it above
Pedo
him.
Pete.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. But
So-
that's not what we're upset about.
No.
There's two things we're upset about. Well, I wouldn't even say upset because I kind of don't even care anymore. One is that all of the liberal media is pretending that, you know, this is good and Trump is evil and he's a convicted felon, which, by the way, he is not. Trump is not a convicted felon.
Yeah.
And anybody who thinks he is woefully ignorant.
Well, also
Not only of the situation, but of the law.
Yeah.
And the things that they brought him up on, they had to invent charges, change the law, bring him up on misdemeanors that nobody has ever brought up on, and turn it into something that it wasn't. So they literally had to move. They basically pulled a labyrinth. They had to change time and space and heaven and hell to get what they wanted.
Right.
For totally, pardon the pun, trumped up charges
Pardon
that
the pun.
nobody has ever been charged for. And then the other one was a situation where everybody was happy. The bank was happy. The investors were happy. Everybody was
As
happy.
they have been with Trump for 40 plus years.
Yeah.
Because
there was no victims, and they brought it up, and
Yeah.
but there, and then you look at who you always consider the source. Look at who brought up these charges. They couldn't even keep it in their pants long enough to file the paperwork, for crying out loud.
I know. My favorite outburst was Whoopi Goldberg on the yuck, the blech. When one of the other panelists said that Hunter Biden lied, she said, "Don't say lie! You won't lie!"
Yeah,
So
I don't think we should call it. I'm not calling it a lie anymore. Well, I don't give a crap what you're calling it, you cornrowed freak. He did lie. That is the definition of lie. And that's the other thing is we spent, and I'm not going to play the montage, but oh my goodness. There's one, I think it's like 45 minutes of the press just going on and on and on, fawning over how he's not going to pardon his own son because he has all this integrity and blah, blah, blah.
You don't have
and
nothing like
most of us don't watch that garbage. We don't even own a television. So we didn't see that. But there were people being fed a steady diet of this.
Mm-hmm.
And are they having that moment? Is
It must
anybody
be.
out there? Because I'm thinking of a particular person in our family.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think she's ever had that moment where she's ingesting what is literally fake news? And enough that she, left the room when we were trying to say, well, actually, no, that didn't happen here. I've got proof. No, you idiot tinfoil hat, blah, 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 left the room. It's like, but here's the video. We can show you. I'm not interested, blah, blah. Okay,
then
whatever.
Anybody can spout a brainless opinion.
Is there ever a moment where somebody like that is watching the news where they literally do a 180 and they think,
oh my God,
I've been duped. I've been duped. There's two personality types. One, we've seen a few of. That actor, that vile blonde dude that's always screaming into the camera that was calling Trump all those names. Mm-hmm. But I got to give him credit where credit is due. He's like, this wasn't even true. We were lied to.
Mm-hmm.
And then you feel like you go through the 7 stages of grief.
Right.
And you come out the other side either pissed, which I think is what happened to Tulsi.
Right.
She was just like pissed. And then, of course, they all dogpiled on her. And that's what happens, too. If you stray away from the plantation, they're going to be out for it. I mean, for God's sake.
I'm not to get too far off that.
Yeah, too far off the track. Anyways, and then the other personality type is the triple down.
Mm-hmm.
And the cognitive dissonance settles in, and it's so strong that it cannot be overcome. And those are the scariest ones.
It's like there used to be a T-shirt you could get that says, "Don't confuse me with the facts," and I used to find that funny. And now it's like,
we need to put that. We need to have that on our.
Okay, so we will soon have on our merch.
Don't confuse me with the facts.
Don't confuse me with the facts.
Send us ideas for how you want that design.
As long as
it fits our strict standards.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, well, I'm re-releasing the Troll in Chief line.
Yay!
And this time we're gonna have not just T-shirts and hoodies, but we're gonna have socks. We're gonna have, in fact, you can pet food bowls. We're gonna have it all, and I think I'm gonna actually specially design. I can get what am I trying to say? Leggings. Troll in Chief leggings.
Wow, Troll in Chief leggings.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to get that anywhere else but at counterculturewise.com.
Yeah, so we'll be putting that together.
We'll definitely do that.
As well as our, holy crap, this is actually happening, merchandise. And Chuck, I got to hand it to him. He's in there just calmly and coolly reporting about World War III. He's just so much less nervous than he used to be.
He still likes to throw one back with me every now and then, but
Well,
he's no longer.
It's different now. It's
yeah,
different.
it's just we're celebrating. It's more like we're just palling around rather than me
Yeah.
having to say,
Charles,
he still has
calm
Yeah.
down. It's not the end, no matter what happens.
But well, you can't say it's not the end of the world because it literally has been for the
Well,
and we're still on the precipice. We've got a few more weeks yet, and they're handing out money.
With
So
Assad leaving for Russia, that's going to be an interesting take. But Chuck will talk more about that.
So check out our Holy Crap, This Is Actually Happening YouTube page, but we also send it out, of course, to everywhere that videos can be found. So
let's talk for just a few moments about this. For anybody
What
who
is a
isn't
pardon
aware.
anyway?
What is a pardon anyway? The U.S. Constitution says, well, let me talk firstly about what he did or was accused of committing. He was convicted in June of lying on a federal form when he purchased a gun in 2018 and swore that he wasn't a drug user.
And that's enough to send any of us.
Yeah, we'd be in jail.
I'm so sick of hearing, if his name was Joe Blow, he wouldn't be. Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would.
Just months later,
In fact, he would have been all this time.
Just months later, he pleaded guilty to charges accusing him of a scheme to avoid paying at least $1.4 million in taxes. Prosecutors alleged he lived lavishly while flouting the tax law. Well, most rich people try to do that. I'll give him that. And spending his cash on things like strippers and luxury hotels. In short, everything but his taxes. Both cases stemmed from a period in Hunter Biden's life in which he struggled with drug and alcohol abuse. Doesn't seem like he was struggling with it. He was fully embracing it. But anyway, before becoming sober in 2019, once again, please, for the love of God, stay sober. No matter what's going on, that's important. After the gun trial
So do you
aired...
think it was Kamala's coke they found in the White House?
I think it was Joe's. I was just bloody.
Think it was Joe?
I think it was Joe. It was Joe Blow. I think it really was.
Okay, then.
After the gun trial aired salacious and unflattering details about... On January 20th, it will cease to matter. Honestly.
Yeah.
It's that whole ragged episode will be over with. We just have to deal with the aftermath and pick up the pieces and clean up, which, knowing Trump and this amazing cabinet he's putting together, it's not going to take more than 6 months.
With every announcement, the liberals just
they're
lose
going
their
insane.
shizzle, which just makes me like them more.
After the gun trial aired salacious and unflattering details about Hunter Biden's life, the president's son said he agreed to plead guilty to the tax charges to spare his family another
Remember,
embarrassing
this is
criminal
the guy
trial.
that banged his dead brother's widow. Okay?
Bang, bang. He shot me down. Bang, bang. Anyway. U.S. Constitution, you asked earlier, what is a pardon anyway? Mm-hmm. The U.S. Constitution says that the president has the power to grant clemency, which includes both pardons and commutations. A pardon forgives federal criminal offenses. A commutation reduces penalties, but isn't as sweeping. The power has its roots in English law. Or say, the king could grant mercy to anyone, and it made it over the ocean to the American colonies and stuck around. The Supreme Court of the U.S. has found the presidential pardon authority to be very broad, and presidents use the power a lot. Donald Trump granted 237 acts of clemency during his 4 years in office, and Barack Obama granted clemency 1,927 times in his 8 years. Presidents have forgiven drug offenses, fraud convictions, and Vietnam-era draft dodgers, as well they should. I have to leave that alone. Among many other things.
Reason to send our children to die.
But a president can only grant pardons for federal offenses, not state ones. Impeachment convictions also aren't pardonable. So that's really the meat and potatoes of it.
Well, just
Lucky
lucky for old Hunter that every single thing he did was a federal felony.
Once again,
Does that include treason? Can you pardon treason?
no. Treason, even in the 2024, treason is punishable by the death penalty.
I have no comment.
Yeah, nor do I. There were two reasons that that Biden lied, lied, Miss Goldberg. I'm sorry, he didn't lie. He told a mistruth. He stretched the truth. He
changed his opinion.
Based on the scientific evidence that was available.
Or as Max would say,
"You were lying." Thanks, Max.
Thanks, Max. I love having him in the room.
Yeah, he's great. So in his statement, the president's, well, it was because he felt that this was a political move, which, okay, I can see that. I mean, I can. That doesn't.
I can't though, because Biden is the one who weaponized his own DOJ to go after Trump. Biden is the current commander-in-chief. It's his Department of Justice that, and they weren't even going after him. Mm-hmm. It's not like they were seeking, give me a man, I'll show you the crime. The dude threw a gun in a dumpster behind a school. The dude was broadcasting using tax dollars for hookers and blow. And underage hookers. the dude kept leaving his laptops every darn where with all the evidence on it.
What was he doing? Taking selfies of himself smoking crack.
That's what you do when you know you will never face any consequences.
Well, that's true.
He knew it then, and he knows it now. Well, it's like and all you have to do is look at the smug look on his face.
He's the epitome of, and I've said this on numerous podcasts, it's like the highest elevated version of the mayor's son who, like, burns down buildings, but because he's the mayor's son, nobody does anything about it. Or
that's quite literally what he is.
Only he's the president of freaking United Dang States.
And part of me wonders, okay, was placing, basically a cabbage in office, knowing full well that he did not have the ability to run the nation, he barely had the ability to zip his fly, was the trade-off, knowing that he had no say in anything and he was just a puppet, that he knew his children would be protected?
We'll never know. They'll never tell us.
Meanwhile, we're laundering several more billion through Ukraine so that he can retire, and his kids can retire, and his kids' kids can retire, except for the one that they won't claim.
Well, it took
the stripper that he knocked
it took a lot for him to.
And I'm so sick of hearing about decency this and decency that, and you look.
There's no shred of decency.
You compare
in the
the Obama's kids and the Biden's kids, the Clintons' kids, even, and Trump's kids.
There's no comparison.
If Barron doesn't end up being president, he's going to end up being probably in the neighborhood of another Elon Musk.
He strongly resembles his father,
and
both his bearing and his looks.
Yeah. You saying
I didn't have any problem
Barron's bearing is bodacious?
I mean, compared to Obama's kids and Trump's kids, who were, so far as I know, haven't been involved in any funny business. I mean, funny business by any kind of crimes or anything.
Well, if anything happened to or with Obama's kids, you wouldn't know because they wouldn't tell you. But you look at Kamala's step kid; she's a blue-haired psychotic.
I have no
whatever.
I think I've seen a picture of her once.
And
I still don't care because
Obama's girls, I guess, are pot smoking, shroom taking, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Daffy and Elmer's kids, I don't really care about them because they're not going to be. They're not going to be in the White House much longer, and Tim Walz won't be at all.
Is that a racist joke, making her a black dog?
I took a calculated risk
but
because she's always cackling. Well, maybe
I like cackles and fuds. She reminds me more of Witchy Poo.
Like Witchy Poo from HR Puff and stuff, or Witch Hazel from the
Hazel, Witch Hazel, yeah.
She takes off and all the bobby pins are flying around.
Yeah,
it's just
right.
One of my favorite characters.
She was funny.
Yeah.
My poopsie.
My poopsie.
What was his name?
Paul.
You remind me of my pet spider, Paul. My tarantula. Yeah. Paul.
The great June Foray.
Paul
great
Tarantula.
voice actress.
Yeah.
Anyway.
If anybody would have a pet tarantula, it would be Kamala.
Yeah.
And just saying the words Kamala tarantula in one sentence is kind of fun.
Tarantula.
Tarantula. You came and went.
Your time has spent.
1.2 billion spent.
How? I am absolutely flabbergasted. I mean, where does
Beyonce.
that...
That's all I have to say. Beyonce.
Look, I like Beyonce, but what the heck?
Broad didn't even sing.
I know. I mean, I think for the kind of money that she blew, to have these showbiz people on. I mean, she should have at least sung one song. You know,
There's one thing Kamala's good at. It's blowing. She can blow money. She can blow senators. She can blow the nation.
well, she can
one
blow
thing she's
off.
good
She can
at.
blow off on January 20th. I'm done with her.
As my mother would say, may she blow up and dry away. I wish no ill on her.
I don't. I mean,
There's a huge part of me that really feels
Thank
sorry
you for your
her.
service. Bug off. Okay.
What service? She really, literally has not done a single thing for anybody ever. And not a good thing. I mean, she's done things. Trust me, she's done things to people, but nothing good. No. I feel sorry for her, though, because her career is... She's probably going to go on the speaking circuit now and probably make bajillions of dollars.
As most former politicians do.
Because people want to listen to this all day.
Well, here's the thing.
People want to listen to that all day.
And I think I said this last week, too. There were a lot of people who voted for Kamala.
Nobody voted
saying,
for Kamala.
Please, let me finish.
No.
Screw you.
Nobody voted
Screw
for...
you. All right.
Is that a promise or a threat?
Both.
Yay! Okay, guys, we're going to play some commercials now.
I love you, Melanie.
I love you back.
All right. And now I lost my train of thought. Thank you so much.
I love your front, too. I like it when he turns the same color as his shirt.
People.
Unfortunately, his shirt is green.
People who eat people are the hungriest, people. Okay. People.
Okay, sorry. I'm over here behaving myself.
Everybody was talking about, it'd be so nice to have a woman of color in office and in the White House.
Racist.
There is an outstanding chance that either in 2028 or 2032, that seems like a billion years from now, Tulsi Gabbard will run for president. And they won't say nothing about no women being of color, none of that.
Nope.
The word Russia will show up continually.
Has she ever even been there?
I have no freaking clue.
Because Biden went back and forth to Ukraine like he had a
he has
guest house there.
He has a deal going on up until January 19th.
Oh, yeah.
So, anywho, enough about them dingbats.
Do you think there's going to be a liberal version of January 20th where they actually do damage and burn buildings down and kill people like we did not do?
I hope not.
I truly hope not.
But then again, I mean, you look at the numbers, and I'm not talking about the extra 20 million votes that Biden got somehow that aren't there this time. I'm talking about your rank and file Americans, the hardworking people, the backbone of our nation. A lot of them flipped for Trump because, I don't think that there's going to be as huge, because I know people who've switched. I know people who've said,
yeah,
you know something? No, just no. I can't have, maybe they've said it to me in confidence. Maybe they've just, they just voted quietly for Trump.
Well, that's the nice thing about this round is we don't have to hide it.
Right. Well, it was decisive. He flipped all 7 of the battleground states. Mm-hmm. Makes you feel kind of useless if you don't live in a battleground state. It's like you really don't have any control. You just Texas is going to go Republican, although that may change someday.
I felt completely useless when I was in Nevada because I knew my vote meant nothing.
Well, it's in Nevada, at least back then. I don't know. Hopefully they've changed the laws, but
They didn't even ask us for our IDs the last time we voted.
They went one better. They would flash your address to the whole room full of people behind you. I'm like, hello, I'm a battered spouse who kind of doesn't want.
Not by me.
Well, not by you, who kind of doesn't want everybody
Just
to know my
psychologically,
address.
you know, just once in a while.
Psycho. Yeah. Let me tell you.
I'm a husband. It goes
My
with-
brain is a battered spouse,
It's-
but you know,
it's-
Jim is a battered spouse, but he's the one who does the battering. So,
And when I take the chicken and put it in the batter, we fry it up nice and pretty.
yes,
and
yes. He beats the eggs and whips the cream. He's the meanest cook
Arr.
around.
Screw it. Shake and bake. Anyway,
We're in a weird mood tonight.
we are in a very odd mood today.
I
don't
swear
know.
on all that is holy, we are smoking nothing.
No,
So,
but I mean,
it has been a really long
Let me
week.
in full disclosure, I've had a couple of hot toddies,
That's true.
mostly for my throat, and
And I'm a
we've got
contact high kinda
really,
girl.
Really cheap whiskey. I had never seen this before. It's called Seagram's 83. Well, of course I've had Seagram's, but not 83.
Wait, not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. It would be kind of iffy to have them as a sponsor. We usually say, not a sponsor, we'd love to have them.
Do you know how many of our listeners are typing hashtag save the keyboard as we speak?
Yeah, no kidding.
No wine shall touch this keyboard.
But I had a couple of these because my throat
Well, yeah,
has been
he's been-
driving me insane.
Seriously, I'm.
So
Yeah.
I feel okay now. I don't think I'm gonna.
cough up a lung. We
and then I
always do
spent
it.
the whole day trying to get the microphones to work.
Yeah,
so.
it's been and you know. it's just-
Please, God, please let the
And-
microphones
and
work.
God said it will be so.
No, he didn't, and we don't know yet.
Well, I mean, those seem to be working anyway.
So far, so good.
Tragic event some days ago. The CEO of United Healthcare, and once again, I need to say before we go any further, I worked briefly for Optum Healthcare, Optum Serve, which is a division of United Healthcare.
That was quite a
Has been-
transition.
Has been for quite a while, but
That transition going from all the things we were just talking about into this.
should I have done it better?
Perhaps that was at the level of one of my former coworkers who would walk into a room and no matter what we were discussing, he would just say, "Speaking of stuff," and completely change the.
Or that's how you make cheese, but that's another story.
That
for
was
another
my
time.
sister and I. Yeah.
That's
Speaking
sort
of stuff, so yeah. Speaking of stuff, what I love. This man was brutally gunned down on a busy street. Was it daylight? It was daytime, wasn't
I
it?
think it was daytime.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
In the middle of, New York City, and people are somehow they say this is a good thing. I don't care who this guy was or what his job was. You don't just go shooting people.
It was outside the New York Hilton, Midtown, just before 7 a.m. So it was first in the morning as the sun.
Oh,
was
it's
coming
early
up.
morning.
Yeah, early morning.
So in broad daylight. Okay. And
Well, I don't know about 7 a.m. in New York. Might have been the sun coming. I don't know.
that's right.
But it's daytime.
And this is a city that, I have been to, and I spent several days actually. This is either right before Giuliani left or right after he left, but in the Giuliani days, so I felt safe. I felt safe.
I wish I could have been there with you because I would like to experience New York City. The only place I've been there is Kennedy Airport, and arguably that's not New York City.
I didn't get to, go to a show or anything, but I got to stay at the Waldorf because I was
But you
speaking.
also had a chance. See, you did the real tourist thing. You walked the streets.
I
you
did.
talked to the people.
I stayed.
You did go on. You did go to on the ferry to the.
Yeah, I
Liberty.
did. I walked.
Yeah.
I stayed in Brooklyn, and I walked the bridge, and
Mm-hmm.
it was pissing rain the whole time. Went through Central Park. I didn't get to go to the zoo because it was closed.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to go to it was closed. Everything was closed. But I took the ferry, had a slice, talked to locals.
Always got to have a slice when you go there.
Visited the memorial. I mean, it had just been built. They hadn't even finished building the museum yet. Visited the memorial. Visited the church nearby, and it was right before Easter. So a lot of things were happening, but I got to see the historical church, and I'm the type of person that I'll talk to the groundskeeper, and I got to talk to the minister, and I talked to the security guard, so I got a whole bunch of history and inside information, like about a tree that basically saved the whole building. That was interesting, and lots of really good stories. And got sung to. There's a few things I didn't get to do that were, New York-y things. I never took a cab, probably because I just couldn't afford it. I did get to ride all over actually. So I took the L train to, I think it was Brooklyn that I went to. And it went all the way to the end, and then you get off, and then I walked about 4 blocks, and I was the only honky in the area, and everybody was super nice to me, and I made friends and didn't have any issues. I wouldn't visit New York today. You couldn't pay me to go to New York today.
Maybe after Trump is in office, because I really would like to go.
They're going to have to clean it up. Eric Adams has potential. We've teased him. We
called him the meat-eating vegan.
Well, he is.
But he also came to the realization that
I think
trying to call NYC a sanctuary city was a gigantic error in judgment. And, he has been in the past a Republican as well as a Democrat. So, I think there's potential hope for him.
There's potential. He needs to grow up a bit.
Yeah.
He's kind of wishy-washy.
So do I, but
But he has learned that when you take a stand, that his own party will turn around and
oh yeah, absolutely.
And
they'll turn on you like piranhas.
Yeah, they're awful. They're just
absolutely.
awful.
So I was
and there's
hoping
absolutely no
to see
forgiveness there. I mean, they'll demand apologies up one side and down the other, and they don't care even if you give them.
So let's see. We had United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was shot and killed right in the middle of Manhattan.
This is stuff out of gang movies.
Yeah,
and I'm not talking gang like Crips and Bloods. I'm talking like, mafia movies.
Right, like a hit. It was like a mafia hit.
It's literally what it looked like.
And I am.
And the suspect that they're releasing photos of. First of all, he's like movie star.
Yeah, he's a good-looking guy.
How do we not know who he is already?
Well,
I'm not buying this.
Yeah, because I was just gonna get to that. We have facial recognition software.
Hello.
On every phone, we have them on. Don't kid me with the cameras on the traffic lights that are just to monitor traffic. Baloney. With that, with all the software, all the technology, you can't even walk out in the street in a major city without people being able to identify you.
Let me just be really, really, really racist for a moment.
Okay.
If facial recognition technology can work in China, it can work anywhere.
That was racist.
And very racist.
But it's also true.
And
so
my Chinese friends are the ones who told me that. So
well, all right then.
And they're also the ones who told me that the coronavirus came out of Wuhan and it wasn't a bat. So
so anyway, most people know about this. What is galling to me, and I understand that insurance companies, the main beneficiaries to them are not the patients, it's their stockholders. I know that.
And the government.
And the government, which they're in cahoots with.
It's a million times worse because of Obamacare, which is what's frustrating me so much. Is here they are cheering, the evil corporate whatever, blah, blah, got what his comeuppance and, fist in the air and yada, yada.
I can't imagine being a member of that poor man's family.
I can't either.
And just having him be assaulted. CEOs are not responsible for the everyday operations of these companies.
No.
It's,
they may be able to
now
make
that the
suggestions,
government,
but
now
they're-
that the government has its big fat finger in the middle of everything, every single one of those mandates, ladies and gentlemen, are allowed through and because of the government.
It's true.
How do we not know this?
we ignore it.
And
So
That's the most
they
galling
got
part of it
exactly
to
what
me.
they
It's not,
wanted. They got
I mean,
exactly
a
what they
man
wanted.
got shot. Okay, it's unfortunate. It's
But
tragic.
that
It happens
opens
every
it
day.
up. Every
Yeah.
time you're upset about something, oh, like, you know, you've listened to the saga of the Kia. Mm-hmm. Should I have gone down and gunned down the guy who changed my oil?
No, and you just shouldn't fly to Korea and gun down the heads of Kia either.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, I need to go all the way. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
this is ridiculous.
You know, your steak
Shows up overdone. Do you go and kill the president of Sizzler? Sizzler's still around?
I
Anyway,
don't know. The president?
But it's
the farmer. You'd have to go all the way to the farmer who
That's true.
raised the cow. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
that
just
was
absolutely.
well done. I ordered it over easy. It's like, you don't know nothing about steak. Boom! Yeah, actually, he'd probably shoot when I set foot on his property. God, I love Texas. So,
it's all right.
all right, so key facts. Thompson was shot in the back and right calf outside of the New York Hilton
Ouch and
Midtown just
ouch.
before 7 a.m. Wednesday. Rushed to Mount Sinai, critical condition, pronounced dead. Suspect's identity hasn't been released. Okay, you
I
are
checked
telling
to
me, look at this picture of this man.
yeah.
You are telling me that there are people in prison right this minute who, with phone pictures, were found by the FBI and sentenced for trespassing on January 6th and are now serving, to this day, it's been more than 4
Probably a life
years,
sentence. It's almost
serving
looking like.
time in prison because the FBI was able to find them based on cell phone photos, and they don't know who this guy is. Bull honky. Bull honky. Not buying this for a second. They still don't know who planted the bombs on January 6th. It's on video. They don't know who it is. No, I'm not buying
Depends on
this.
what side you're on.
I am not
Let's
buying
just
this
put
for
it
a
that way.
nanosecond.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Police told CNN they have reason to believe the suspect gunman has left New York City, you think. Senior
would
law
have.
enforcement official told the New York Times on Thursday the shooter used a fake New Jersey ID to book a room at the Upper West Side hostel he stayed at before killing Thompson. Detectives, you need an ID to stay at a hostel? I thought the whole point of a hostel was that you're like homeless and...
No. There are people who travel the world and stay in hostels. It's not a homeless shelter. It's a totally different thing. I've stayed in hostels.
Okay, do tell, because my understanding was always that it was just like a homeless shelter.
No, it's very low cost lodging, and there are people who join clubs and they go around the country or around the world and they stay in these hostels. Now, most of these rooms have multiple beds, so you're sharing a room with other people, and they're usually very nice and clean and all that kind of thing, and you just stay however long you need to stay. But it's like some people say get on a bicycle and they want to ride across the country. Well, there's a whole network of these. If you're looking for a cheap place to stay in the city, it's not a bad option as long as you're okay with sleeping in the same room with people you don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, it's how young people, like people who are
Yeah, I've always heard
between
of,
high school and
youth
college.
hostels are where it was always related to traveling, but it was always like a free place that you stayed because you were
No,
homeless.
it's not free. It's not free.
It's not free. Okay.
They're not a homeless shelter. It's just an alternative. And it's mostly, they call them youth hostels normally because the kids around high school or college age are usually the ones who do it. But you can be as old as me and stay at them. It's
So
totally
they have
fine.
geezer hostels?
They have geezer. I don't know if they call. I don't think they'd have a sign saying geezer hostel out. But yeah, it's not what you thought it was.
Okay.
Something to look into if you just want to have a fun time and learn to meet people.
Well, that's
there were some in
pre-Airbnb, I suppose.
Yeah. I stayed at one in Portland.
Really?
Yeah, it was nice.
and I think they had
have quite a few in Las Vegas, actually. That's kind of
Really?
It's kind of a well-kept secret.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a underground network that you
Yeah, and it's not really so underground. I mean, you go online and find these networks that have these hostels, and it costs a fraction of staying in a hotel room. And like I said,
do they feed you?
no,
Oh,
no.
so it's basically
Yeah, it's just
a cot.
It's basically just a place to go to sleep for a few hours, really, or if you just want to stay for a few days and catch a town and then move on to the next one. It's a way to save money on travel if
you're more interested in the travel than where you're staying. I think a lot of people, when they travel, they're more interested in their hotel room than they are in the place they're actually traveling to.
It depends on where you go to. I mean, if you're just, like when we traveled to Las Vegas, we'll be doing that again in 2025. We'll do up here. Part way down the road, we're just in some small town, but there's a Best Western or Motel 6 or whatever.
We felt like it was a luxury that we didn't have to stay. No offense, we love you, Motel 6. We do. You've done right by us.
Well, we
would take you on as a sponsor in a heartbreak.
Transfers.
But the mere fact that we didn't have pets with us and we could stay at any hotel we wanted to,
Right.
a Super 8, that was fancy. But I know. Well, it says the person who's, traveled the world and stayed at the, Hilton and Marriott and the...
Right. I mean, there's a huge difference between a Hilton. I remember one Hilton we stayed at.
Anyway, we won't go into that story tonight. But,
big difference between that and your Super 8 motel. But, I mean, the good thing is that hostels prove that you can have almost no budget at all. And
not to
have good
interrupt you,
lodging.
but I'm going to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Since COVID, there really isn't that huge of a difference anymore. I mean, you don't get, there's no such thing as turn down service. The internet is iffy. You can't even get clean towels anymore. You have to bus all your own things. The service is just, there's none.
Substandard, just as
and
what it used to be.
I have gotten better service at a Podunk Motel 6 than I have at a Hilton, or a Marriott Courtyard.
That's sad because the difference is hundreds of dollars a night sometimes.
Literally, yeah. And since COVID, it's gotten so bad. What are we paying for anymore? I mean, we were staying at a 5-star resort, and I never saw a staff member. We never got maid service. Nothing.
Well, I mean,
everything we had to do.
To be fair, though, this is a timeshare, and they did have top of the line washer and dryer in the room. So
that's not people. I'm talking about service.
Oh, service, yeah.
Yeah, appliances are not people, Jim. You were just excited because we didn't have a washer and dryer. We stayed in a place and that, you know what? That's the way hotels should be. You should feel like you are staying in a place that is better than home.
It's nice when you can afford that.
Yeah. And hotels, when I was traveling a lot, a lot of the times I wasn't very homesick because the places I was staying were so nice.
Yeah.
That's the way it's supposed to be. When you're going from, hostel to Motel 6 to living in a tent, you're going to get homesick. So.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the story on youth hostels.
That's interesting.
Nice little diversion.
Yeah. Okay. So anyways, dude was staying at a hostel. We haven't gotten
20
very
minutes
far.
later.
Yeah. Everybody's tuned out. They're off doing their nails, whatever. All right, so police recovered a burner phone and a water bottle in an alley near where the shooting took place that could give fingerprints or information on. They know who this guy is. You know what?
I know they know who he is.
I know exactly who he is.
Who?
He's the guy who left the coke in the White House.
Wow. Might have darn well been.
I mean, they still have no idea who that was. Yeah, they know who it is.
They know who it was.
They know who it is. Yep.
Yeah, so what? Okay, before we move on to one of our other departments, what would motivate the police department, FBI, or whatever, to take this long, giving out information that they know is that they already have? And it would be really unbelievable that they don't have any information on this guy by now. I just checked CNN as we were talking about this, and there's no updates. He's still at large.
This has been happening a lot in the past decade. Epstein comes to mind. And
Excuse me.
somebody somewhere is being paid and somebody somewhere is being protected.
Mm-hmm.
And for this to be just so blatant and out in the open, this guy was so cocky that he knew there was zero chance he would be brought down.
Just like Biden.
Mm-hmm. And now we bring it full circle.
Isn't that nice?